Hey everybody, Patty Ann here. Hey, how are ya? I have a new video I want to show you today that shows using this really super cute design on a towel. Okay, I'm using the flour sack towels. If you can't find a source for these, I have a fabulous source for them if you just want to call up the company and order them, and I'll show you that in just a sec. So this is what you'll print out. This is the design printed out so you know how it's going to fit on your towel when you're ready to go. These are the instructions that I always print out. Okay. And as a matter of fact, this is the second time I'm doing this towel. So I found a way, and I put notes to myself down here, that I can change the order of some of these things and eliminate a few of the times I have to change the colors of the thread. Okay, at the time I purchased my toweling to do these, they had this white, which is really nice. And by the way, I do pre-wash mine before I use them. The white, they have this one that's super cute with a little bit of a gray, and I haven't hemmed anything, obviously, but you can see how that is. I think they have a green one too, and then they have this more natural color. This is what I'm going to use for today's lesson. Now, I did want to say that this is a 5x7 hoop project, and what I've already done is I've washed this first, and then I've ironed it, and then I used my favorite product, Terrio Magic, link below if you're not sure what it is, because that makes it really nice and helps you to not get puckers and things. Then on the back of this, I used another product that I actually got from Beginnings Quilt Shop too. And by the way, I used to work there, so that's how I know Todd and Kathy, who you can kind of see behind me. But I used this Floriani embroidery product. It's called Stitch and Wash Fusible Water Soluble Stabilizer. Now this water soluble stabilizer is a little bit different than most, because this one here now, it has a temporary fusible coating which prevents the fabric from shifting during hooping and embroidery. And then with a bit of moisture, the soluble fibers release from the stitching, making the stabilizer easy to remove, yet, this is the different part, yet leaving behind a soft fibrous foundation to support the embroidery. So I don't know if we can see anything on the back of my original one yet. I haven't really washed it totally, but okay. So you can see that the hand of it is very, very nice, right? And hopefully you can see that I've removed almost all that stabilizer. There's some left right here in the design area, but I really like using this because it works out really well. There is, I'll tell you this, if you're using a PE 700 or PE 770 or 800, there are a lot of jump stitches over here where these berries are, so you're going to have a lot of jump stitch removal to do, but I'm telling you, I think it's well worth it, and I just love the wreath. So again, what I did was this, and I'll hoop this in my 5x7. All right, and let's go up to my software now. Okay, when you bring in your design, it's going to look like this. As you can see down here in the lower right hand corner, I have a 5x7 hoop selected, and it tells me the size of the design, how many stitches are in it, then the number of colors, and the changes, 37 color changes. And if we look over here and we expand the objects panel, you can see when we scroll down here that there definitely are 37 different colors. As I said, there is a way to consolidate a few of these to make less color changes, and there were actually two things that stitched out on my first example that I decided I don't really need to have stitching out on this one. This is all up to you though. It would stitch out perfectly just as it is. Leave it just like this. But let me tell you this now, if you're using this, and over here you'll notice that when this file was created, Wendy from Life Stitched Up, and I'll have the link to her Etsy shop down below. Well, anyway, Wendy used brother embroidery thread for the most part, a Few times she used Madeira, but mostly brother thread. Okay, I don't really have that much brother thread. I mostly have Floriani thread. So what I did was I came up here and clicked on the very top level like that. Then I came down here to where it says thread, and rather than it being Madeira rayon, I changed it to Floriani because that's what I mostly have. Now when I click on this and I say OK, I'd like you to watch and see what happens to the names over here. Right now it's brother, brother, brother. Okay, watch. Okay, just like that, it changed to Floriani colors. And those are the colors that I use and the numbers that I use for my things. So let me see. Let's go here to my one that I use to stitch with. And rather than having my hoop this way, what I did was I just went ahead and clicked on this and found this little blue circle right here so I could twirl this around because I wanted it to stitch this way instead. And then I wanted to go ahead and grab this, this, and come up here and say, center the design in the hoop. Perfect, just like that. And then I started working from here. So here's what I've done over here. Actually, I can show you right now. So when I scrolled down here, I just want to show you those two things I decided to get rid of because I didn't notice that they made that much difference. Okay, here's one of them right here. And this is just a little dupe that comes on this file. And I just decided I don't really think I need that little thing. I don't think it's going to make or break my design. So I just hit delete on my keyboard and got rid of that. And then there was another one. Let's see, is this it? Yeah, there's another one just like it on the other side. Now I'm hoping if Wendy sees this, she'll say, oh, Patty Ann, you should never delete that. You needed that. Oh my gosh. But I'm hoping, my fingers are crossed, that's going to work just fine with me deleting these out. Okay, so I don't think I needed that. The other thing that I did, as I said, was I went ahead after stitching it once, and I knew some of these that I could move to another place. Now, I'll just show you gently how you do it, or easily, quickly. I'm not going to have a class on this right now. But for example, I noticed when I stitched, after I stitched number 9, I could stitch number 12 right after it. So all I had to do was take number 12, grab onto this picture, and move it up under stitch number 9. And it soon becomes stitch number 10. So that could be kind of confusing for you right now, but that's something you can do here in Embrilliance Essentials, which really helped. I was actually able to move, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I think 7 different steps I was able to eliminate. But I'm going to go back to the way it was originally, just like this. And the other thing that I did do is this, and I'm going to have you look down here at my table. Okay, I printed out the colors in Floriani that I'm going to be needing to use. So then I went and got, so for example, for step number 2, I'm supposed to be using Wreath Green, which is Floriani 0206. So I have my threads separated according to colors, and I looked on these to look for 0206. 206. Here's 205. I could have used that one if I don't have 206, but guess what? I did find that I did indeed have 206 in here. So I took that and I placed it over here to be next in line. The first one was supposed to be Indian Spice, which was 737. I didn't have anything that was 737, and Floriani sells this little thing. I'm sure other companies do as well, or you can just look online at their color swatches. But I was supposed to be looking for 737, and I noticed it's right here. This is the color I was supposed to have. I didn't have 737, so I just went into my stash and I tried to find, well, which one looks pretty close to that. So I took a piece of this over it, and that, just about matches perfectly. So that was, actually, that is 737. Oops, you guys, hang on. Let's see. Here is Scarlet, 190. No, anyway, this is how I did it, right? If I didn't have a specific color, oh, I know why these are like this and why they're matching up. This was not the original color I was supposed to use. I changed these in my software then after I found the color that I had to use, so it would show up over there. But that's even another class. But this is handy to have a thing like this so you can get as close to the colors as what the designer had hoped that you would use. Okay, we're back here in Embrilliance Essentials, and I just wanted to show you another thing that I had shown the other day. Remember, there's a whole slew of steps on this thing, right? And let's see, I am going to go ahead and save this again without that little dude. I'm going to delete it. Delete. And then that other little one over there, delete. So now I only have 35 steps. And whoops, I am going to save that again on my thumb drive. So I'm going to put this right in here into my computer. Then I'm going to come up here to File, and I'll say Save Stitch File As, and this is my thumb drive or my USB drive, as you can see here, and I'll just save it again as Wreath over top of this one and say Save, and it's going to ask me, do I want to replace it? Yes. Okay, there's that. Now the other thing that I can do if I want to is I can go ahead, remember this little push pin I told you about the other day? I can get rid of this whole little pane down here by clicking on that push pin, and it hides it. So then I'm able to see many more steps over here. Now if I wanted to get that back, of course, you'll notice it's up here, up in the upper right hand corner. It says Properties. Click on that, click on the little push pin, and it's back to where it was. Okay, the other thing I like to do in this software, Embrilliance Essentials, or any of the Embrilliance softwares, is to run the stitch simulator. It looks like a sewing machine needle right up here. Click on that, and then that brings up this bar, and it allows you to watch this stitch out as it's going to do on your machine. So I'm just going to click Go, and it's going to show me what it's going to do. And of course I can speed it up. Right there, it's taken a while. Okay. And that's just making the wreath, the grapevine wreath, what I absolutely love. I think it looks super cute. Now after it does all of those, then it's going to start, I'm going to have to stop and change the color that I'm using and just continue on. As I said, there'll be a lot of jump stitches right there where those little berries are. And some of the colors that I've decided to use here, I've chosen my own. I think they're a little more subdued than the ones Wendy chose, which is fine. You know, we're able to make these our own by changing up the colors a little bit and doing a few things like that. And I love how the bow turned out. It's super cute. The whole thing is adorable. And it really works out nicely on a towel. And again, you know what? If you can't find a local place to get your towels, please feel free to call Todd or Kathy. They're wonderful. My former work buddies. And they'll hook you up with whatever you need, whether it be Floriani products. They've got thread. They've got all the stabilizers. They've got everything that you could need, as well as this toweling. But you'll need to call them because they're a little company. They're a little, almost like a mom and pop, but not quite, shop. And they don't have a big presence on the internet, although they do have a Facebook page and they do have a website, but they don't sell specifically online. So you'd have to ask them or tell them what you want. Okay, and I'm sure they could get anything that you would want for you. So let's go over to my machine now, and I'm going to go quickly through a few of these steps so you can see how it works. Okay, I think I showed you that I drew these crosshairs on here. I figured out that I wanted my design to start about 3 finger width up from the hem on this side. So I went ahead and put the cross hatches on, and now I've lined them up as best I can with these little lines right here. So I know things are pretty well centered. I'm going to start up here with the Indian spice. Okay, we're on to the second step now, and this one is going to be using the wreath green, which I've already threaded. I accidentally started doing the orangey color for the berries, but I think I figured it out quick enough that I'm just going to go ahead and just step right over it with the green, and hopefully it'll cover it right up well enough. Next up are the berries, and I've already threaded the thread that I need for that color. Okay, that has finished stitching, and as you can probably see, there really are quite a few jump stitches that I will have to trim here. And I want to trim them before I continue on. I'm not sure if I used my larger machine that cuts jump stitches, if it would stop in between each of these. Okay, we're on to the fourth step now, which if you look right here, it's actually where it has text, and it's a little hard to tell on the PE 770. That's why it's good to either print this out, and you can see that the fourth step is the Charlotte, and it's going to be the text because it's bold, it's blacker, and it shows you what it's going to stitch, or you could look on your computer screen. But you don't need to really have a computer for this. After you've put it on your thumb drive, all you have to do is hit go and you're ready to roll. So I'm going to hit go, and it's going to start stitching that out. Okay, it's all done. The last thing I have to do is hem it. I can either hem it by hand, sewing the back, or I can hem it by machine. So all I did was turn under a piece that was about the same width as this, which is about 1/2 of an inch. I turned it under once and pressed it. Then I turned it under again and pressed it. And now I will just stitch here to finish it up. Give it a toss in the washing machine to get rid of all the extra of this. And it's done. Another Christmas present. Okay, I have a couple announcements to make. The first one is, so many of you have been asking me if I would do some classes, some very beginner classes on using Embrilliance essentials. So I'm going to start doing that, just short little snippets. I'm going to go kind of through the workbook that you can download and print out. So I'll just have them as class number 1, number 2, number 3, and you'll be able to follow me. I'll do them weekly. Also, be sure that you go to Wendy's website so that you can grab this really super file yourself, and I'll have it linked down below as well. And don't forget, you can always purchase the stuff that you might be needing from the shop where I used to work. All you have to do is call up Todd or Kathy or even Rachel and tell them what you'd like, and they'll zip it in the mail to you. They're really sweet people, and I'm sure they would love to have your business. I'm not affiliated with them anymore. As I said, I used to work there. But anyway, thank you so much for joining me. Hey, subscribe if you're not subscribed. Hit the like button and comment. And I'll see y'all again soon. Bye.